Well, earlier on Monday, for the first time, the UN Security Council passed a resolution demanding an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. And actually, this is the first time after 5 months of the brutal war taking place over there against the Palestinian civilians. Well, over the phone, we have Ambassador Hussein Hareedy, former Assistant Foreign Minister. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, Mr. Ambassador.
Good morning, madam.
So first of all, I want to shed the light on this move. Talking first about this demand or this resolution for an immediate ceasefire, and we know that many countries, about 14 countries, were in favor of this, and the United States abstained. How do you see this?
Well, it's the first time from October 7 last that the Security Council has adopted a ceasefire resolution in Gaza. This is a good step forward, and the United States decided to abstain instead of vetoing the resolution, and that, of course, that reflects a change in American policy towards the war in Gaza. So let's hope that negotiations to reach a ceasefire in Gaza would succeed, and we'll take it from there. Once there will be a release of hostages and the release of some Palestinian prisoners and detainees, I guess we hope that the hope is that a permanent ceasefire in Gaza would be in place. So I guess that it's a turning point in the way the Security Council has dealt with the war in Gaza.
Well, how far do you see this can be effective? I mean, regardless of any of the resolutions or demands of the whole world and the whole nations, actually, Israel insisted on bombarding and using all what they can against the innocent civilians in Palestine. So from your own point of view, how do you read the scenario, or do you expect that Israel can be under pressure to stop this fire against Palestine immediately?
I doubt it very much. The Security Council resolution carries political and symbolic significance. And as you said in the introduction, 14 member countries in the Security Council voted for the resolution, and that shows the solidarity, international solidarity, whether within the Council or internationally for a ceasefire in Gaza. So I doubt very much if Israel would really take that into consideration. But however, it cannot ignore the fact that it has become isolated internationally. Even when it comes to American-Israeli relations, these relations are not in a good shape, and even in the American media, they started talking about the growing disappointment on the part of the American administration on the way Israel is conducting this war. Anyhow, as I said, I guess that the resolution of the Security Council last Monday carries a political significance, and that's what. And on the other hand, it's a moral support and a political support for the Palestinians. I know that it's a very small support. It doesn't change the reality on the ground, but still, it's something. It's a move forward, and I guess the pressures, the international pressures, will keep piling on the Israelis, and not only from international, but from within Israel itself. I guess the Israeli public opinion would, in the next few months, would realize that the Israeli government his country has taken Israel on the wrong road.
Don't you think after the pressure that was put on the United States, whether by Europeans or by the whole world actually, and the civilians, the demonstrations that we have seen even in the United States asking for stopping this bloodshed? So don't you think if the United States stopped just assisting or sending more assistance to Israel, that this might help a lot in stopping this bloodshed?
Definitely, the American position could be very determining in bringing this war to an end. But the question is whether the American administration is willing to exert such pressure. At the present moment, I don't think so. But maybe in the next few weeks, the American administration would start looking into some steps or some measures on its part in order to bring the Israelis to their senses, if I may use this term. So it's an option for the American administration, but it remains to be seen whether this administration would use it in the near future or not.
And how can we use it just to work more on just sending more humanitarian aid to the Palestinians? As we all know now, the shortage in their basic needs. And we can see many efforts exerted. Of course, Egypt keeps on sending assistance and opening the Rafah border starting from the first day. And we can see the air assistance as well. But yet still they need more and more. And we have seen this through many of the live videos over there.
Well, the Security Council resolution that was passed last Monday has called for a surge in humanitarian assistance to Gaza. And I think the Americans and the Europeans are pushing Israel really to honor all the demands by the international community, not only the Security Council, but by the United Nations specialized agencies that have a mandate in Gaza to increase the amount of humanitarian aid entering Gaza, to the extent that they have called, some European countries have called for the opening of the crossings between Gaza and Israel. The situation, of course, is very critical. That's why you hope that the negotiations run by Egypt, Qatar, and the American administration would succeed in bringing an end to the fighting going on in Gaza right now, and that would lead to more aid going into Gaza. But the most important thing is that a permanent ceasefire in Gaza and the withdrawal of Israeli forces from Gaza. This is the most immediate thing.
Well, starting from the first minute, we have seen Egyptian efforts, whether we are talking about different meetings that were held, whether on the international level, Egypt with her partners or allies in just helping and confronting this bloodshed in Gaza. So how can we work more on this side, taking benefit from this resolution? Because just as we were talking right now, still we don't know how far, or we have to take into consideration that Israel, regardless of any resolution or regardless of any of the resolutions adopted, still they have their own agenda and they continue on what they are doing, regardless of the international impression against them.
It goes without saying that the Israelis have their own agenda when it comes to the Palestinian question. Whether we discuss the situation in Gaza or the situation in the West Bank, or even what would happen in Gaza once this war comes to an end. That's for sure. But we should keep working. We should keep working. We should, as far as Egypt is concerned, we should keep working with the American administration, with the European Union, with the United Nations, and with the Arab countries in order to bring pressures to bear on Israel. We should not give up. And I guess I guess that these efforts would bear fruits, but hopefully sooner than later.
Well, talking about this resolution and its effect on the ground, as still UN personnel, they say Israel continues to block any aid convoys as experts warn of looming famine.
Well, we all know what Israel could be up to in Gaza. The long-term objectives of this Israeli aggression, of this war against the Palestinians, innocent Palestinian civilians. We all know that. What's more important, as far as this point is concerned, what we would do how would the Arab world deal with Israel once this war comes to an end? Well, I hope that the message from Arab capitals would be that it won't be, once this war is over, it won't be business as usual. If this message gets through to the Israelis, then maybe that would make a difference. But as long as the Israelis do believe that the Arab world, without a single exception, that the Arab world would, once this war is over, would conduct relations with Israel as nothing happened, then Israel would keep on, won't have an incentive to bring this war to an end. So the most important thing, not only an immediate ceasefire, a permanent ceasefire, but the Arabs should let the Israelis know, and should let the Americans know, that it won't be business as usual once this war is over. That would make a difference. As long as this message is absent, I don't think Arab positions would make a difference.
And do you think this can help when it comes to the Israeli politicians or leaders just to change their agenda, just as you mentioned? Because at the end, let's say that politics can never be separated, for example, from economic benefits or economic issues. Both are moving parallel to each other. And of course, each country is looking for its own interests and the interests of its civilians as well.
Well, of course, but after the death or the assassination of 32,000 Palestinian civilians in Gaza, and after the growing annexation of the West Bank, I think that the Arabs should make a stand as far as their relations and their future relations with Israel is concerned. We should make a stand. We are interested in finding a permanent solution according to the United Nations resolutions to the Palestinian question. We as Arabs, we cannot, once this war is over, we cannot revert once again to the way we had handled and managed the Palestinian question before October 7th. Because there will be, from a historical point of view, from a political point of view, there will be before October 7th and after October 7th. And let us hope that the Arab countries, without exception, once again, without exception, would draw the proper conclusions of the post-October 7th era in the Middle East.
Well, also, I think just now, after all what is happening, I believe one benefit out of this is the international recognition of the Palestinian rights that we used, Egypt especially, we used to fight for this years ago, the Palestinian cause. And today we can see worldwide, everyone is talking about the rights of Palestine.
No, well, of course, this is under the pressure of the moment. But once this moment is over, I'm not sure that the world will keep talking about finding a solution to the Palestinian question. So that's why I insist on the position, the future position of the Arab countries vis-à-vis Israel. And whether the Arab countries, once this war is over in Gaza, would really have a unified stand on how to deal with Israel. Because in the last 5 months, we have seen the true face of Israel. This is Israel. Israel is not interested in peace. So let's see but believing that the present engagement of the international community vis-à-vis the need to find a permanent solution to the Palestinian question would remain as such, I doubt it very much.
Well, Ambassador Hussein Hareedy, former Assistant Foreign Minister, thank you very much for joining us. And I guess with this, we come to the end of our breakfast show for today. Thank you all for joining us, and stay tuned for more coming up on Nile TV International.